As we get ready to install Active Directory, there are a few prerequisites we want to make sure that we have defined before we actually start the install. The first, domain controllers require static IP addresses. So you have to have a static IP address on the machine. If not, you will get error messages during the install. We also have to name the computer before you install Active Directory. The reason that's important, you cannot change the computer name after Active Directory is installed, so be sure you have the name you want. If you do not have the name you want, it's a long, drawn-out process to change it after you've made it a domain controller. Make sure the DNS server addresses are defined as well. What happens when you install Active Directory is it will also give you the option to install and configure this DNS service. And as we briefly mentioned earlier, DNS is a service that takes a name and it resolves a name to an IP address. Now it does a few other things, but that's the most common function. When Active Directory is installed, it creates several records related to DNS automatically. When it does that, it looks at the DNS server address on the machine that we're installing Active Directory. Whatever that address is where it attempts to write all those records. So if you have left that blank or not defined and you install Active Directory, it's actually not going to work when you're done because you're going to be missing lots of records. On my machine, the DNS server, that address is going to be the same as the IP address of the machine. It's going to use itself for DNS, so it's going to write all those records directly to the local machine itself. The other concern is the location of database files. Active Directory is actually a database. So your objects we create in Active Directory, they're all going to live in this database file. Ideally, you would always put that on a separate physical hard drive in your server. When you install Active Directory, it's going to give you the option to decide where all these database files and transaction logs should go, so you can decide. Now, it is fine to keep them on the C drive. That is what I will do in the lab environment here. So it's going to go on the same drive as the operating system. In a real world, you would want to have the operating system on one drive and you would want Active Directory installed on a different physical drive. So there's no disk contention between the two. So be sure you have planned for those. As long as you have, then we are set to start installing Active Directory.